Welcome to SAXU Update. That night, Las Vegas was not only glowing with neon lights and bustling crowds. Inside Dolby Live at Paak MGM, thousands of eyes were fixed on one stage, waiting for a moment that comes only once a year. Second by second, the atmosphere grew more intense as the clock moved closer to midnight. Bruno Mars, the center of attention that evening, performed with his signature confidence, while clearly enjoying every second on stage. Song after song energized the crowd, turning the New Year's Eve concert into an unforgettable celebration. Yet, few expected that the most memorable moment would arrive outside the setlist. As the final minutes of 2025 approached, the music slowly faded. The stage lights dimmed. The noise of the crowd transformed into a unified countdown echoing throughout the venue. 10, 9, 8 excitement and anticipation filled the air. Then, at the exact moment the year changed, Bruno Mars stepped forward to the edge of the stage. With a small smile carrying deep meaning, he delivered a simple sentence that instantly ignited the crowd. "Happy New Year 2026!" Cheers erupted across the room. Applause, screams, and flashing phone lights blended into a magical scene. For those who witnessed it live, it was more than just a New Year's greeting. It was an emotional experience they would remember for a lifetime. What made the moment even more special was the setting. Las Vegas, known as the entertainment capital of the world, once again became the backdrop for an iconic New Year's celebration. Not through a massive televised broadcast or an outdoor festival, but through an exclusive concert that felt intimate and personal. Within hours, short clips of the moment spread rapidly across social media. Videos of Bruno Mars saying "Happy New Year 2026" went viral, drawing reactions from fans around the globe. Many admitted they felt chills watching his expression and the overwhelming response from the crowd. Others couldn't hide their envy of those lucky enough to be there in person. Speculation quickly followed. Some fans saw the moment as a symbolic opening to a new chapter in Bruno Mars' career in 2026. Others felt the greeting carried a different tone, warmer, more heartfelt, as if it held a special message for his fans worldwide. To this day, that brief moment continues to be talked about, not because of grand gestures or long speeches, but precisely because of its simplicity. One sentence, one night, and one iconic stage in Las Vegas were enough to create a memory that lingers in many hearts. Once again, Bruno Mars proved that he is not only an exceptional performer, but also an artist who understands how to create emotional moments. Amid the glittering celebrations and the noise of the entertainment world, he made the arrival of the new year feel closer, more personal, and deeply meaningful. And for his fans, those seconds will always be remembered as the moment they welcomed 2026, together with Bruno Mars, even if only through a screen. As the applause slowly settled, Bruno Mars did not rush to leave the stage. Instead, he took a brief moment to look out at the crowd, soaking in the energy of a room still buzzing with emotion. The connection between artist and audience felt unusually strong, as if the boundary between performer and fan had quietly dissolved in those final seconds of the year. Many attendees later shared that the timing of the moment made it especially powerful. The transition into a new year often carries personal meaning, hope, reflection, and renewal, and experiencing it alongside a global music icon amplified those emotions. For some, it marked the start of 2026 with joy and optimism. For others, it became a reminder of how music can unite strangers in a shared experience. Industry observers also noted how effortlessly Bruno Mars turned a simple tradition into a headline-making moment. In an era dominated by elaborate visuals and carefully staged spectacles, his understated approach stood out. There were no scripted speeches or dramatic effects, just presence, timing, and sincerity. Online discussions continued well into the following days. Fans analyzed every detail, from his expression to the tone of his voice, while media outlets highlighted the moment as one of the most memorable celebrity New Year's greetings of the year. The clip's rapid spread across platforms reaffirmed Bruno Mars' enduring influence in the digital age, where authenticity often resonates louder than spectacle. As 2026 unfolds, That brief midnight moment remains a symbolic starting point not only for a new year, but for whatever lies ahead in Bruno Mars' journey. Whether it signals upcoming projects or simply stands as a beautiful standalone memory, one thing is certain: sometimes the smallest moments leave the deepest impact. And long after the lights dimmed at Dolby Live, the echo of that simple greeting continued to live on, reminding fans around the world that music, timing, and genuine emotion can turn a single second into history. In the days that followed, fans began sharing their own stories tied to that night. Some spoke about attending the concert as a way to close a difficult year, while others described it as a spontaneous decision that unexpectedly became one of their most cherished memories. Across social media platforms, personal reflections accompanied reposted clips, turning the moment into something deeply collective rather than fleeting. Music critics also weighed in, noting how moments like these reinforce why Bruno Mars continues to stand apart in the industry. Beyond chart success and technical performance, his strength lies in understanding timing, knowing when to let music speak. And when silence or a single sentence can say even more, the New Year's greeting, though brief, felt intentional and emotionally precise. For Las Vegas, the night added another chapter to its long history of iconic performances. The city has hosted countless legendary artists, yet certain moments managed to rise above the noise. This was one of them, not because of scale, but because of feeling. It was a reminder that even in a city built on spectacle, authenticity still leaves the strongest impression. As attention gradually shifted to what 2026 might hold, the memory of that midnight exchange remained fresh. Fans speculated about future performances, possible releases, or surprise appearances, while others were content to let the moment exist on its own, untouched by expectations. In the end, the significance of that night was never about announcements or promises. It was about presence. One artist, one audience, and one shared second at the turning of the year captured not just on screens, but in emotion. And for many, that was more than enough. As the year moved forward, the moment gradually took on a life of its own. It was replayed not just as a clip, but as a feeling, something fans returned to during quiet moments, reminding themselves how a single night could hold so much meaning. In an age where content moves quickly and attention fades fast, this was a rare instance of a moment that lingered. Cultural commentators pointed out that such scenes resonate because they feel real. There was no attempt to dominate the narrative of the new year, no grand statement about the future. Instead, Bruno Mars allowed the moment to breathe, trusting the audience to carry its meaning forward in their own way. For many fans watching from afar, the experience felt surprisingly intimate. Even through a screen, the sincerity of that brief greeting bridged distance and time zones, making the start of 2026 feel shared rather than solitary. It was a reminder of music's quiet power to connect people who may never meet, yet feel the same emotion at the same instant. As memories of fireworks and countdowns faded elsewhere, this moment remained distinct. Not louder than the rest, but deeper. Not defined by spectacle, but by sincerity. And in a world that often rushes past its own milestones, the pause, however brief, became the true highlight of the night. Years from now, when fans look back on the start of 2026, many may not remember where they were or what song was playing on the radio, but they will remember that simple voice on a Las Vegas stage and the feeling it carried, proof that sometimes the most unforgettable moments are the ones that ask nothing more than to be felt. In the broader story of Bruno Mars' career, the moment may seem small. There were no album announcements, no surprise collaborations, no dramatic reveals. Yet that simplicity is precisely what gave it weight. It stood as a reminder that not every defining chapter is written in bold headlines. Some are felt quietly, in shared silence and a few chosen words. As 2026 continues to unfold, the memory of that New Year's Eve in Las Vegas remains untouched by time or expectation. It exists on its own terms, free from speculation, preserved in the emotions of those who witnessed it live and those who experienced it through a screen. In a culture often driven by what comes next, This moment asked nothing more than to be remembered. For Bruno Mars, it was another example of his rare ability to balance star power with sincerity. For his audience, it became a personal marker, a point in time where music, emotion, and the turning of the year aligned perfectly. No countdown could recreate it, and no replay could fully capture it. And perhaps that is why it endures. Because at its core, the moment was not about performance or celebration alone. It was about connection. One voice, one sentence, and a shared beginning, leaving behind a quiet truth that will linger long after the echoes of applause fade away.